How's it? Welcome back, welcome back. Just going to do a bit of a yarn here. I released a video yesterday about how I cracked it on YouTube, and I've had lots of positive comments and praise and all the rest of that carry on. And I mentioned the subconscious, the power of the subconscious mind, and how that helped me to get where I am today on YouTube, and both in my personal life as well. Now, in my business life, I was using the power of the subconscious really positively and very wisely. In my personal life, I was using it negatively. So I'm not sure if you regular viewers are aware, but this is not my home. This is a rental house. I lost my home. I lost my wife. I still have my family. They're still there. I still see them on a regular basis, but I lost Kristen, and yeah, that was heartbreaking. It's been a very, very challenging couple of years for me. I've had some highs and some really low points as well, and I let my thoughts get away on me, and my mental health suffered quite a bit. And since then I've gone through a dark, deep pit, and now I'm back up again, and I'm just coming up like that, and then I'm away again, back on the horse, charging through the woods. But it took a long time, and I'm still working on it quite hard. Now, the reason my marriage failed was because of me predominantly. It does take two to tango, I understand that, but it was my fault alone. I displayed a lot of toxic masculinity traits, and I got more and more toxic without realizing it. I was so focused on her problems and pointing the finger at her that I failed to work on myself. And that's all one can do in a relationship, is work on oneself. Especially if you're a man, you've got to sort your own shit out first, and then once that happens, the woman will follow if she's in a good space. So yes, I somehow managed to completely cock that all up, and I'm now alone and homeless, so to speak. I still have a home, but it's not really my home. My home will always be the previous house in Ross. Even if I get another house and family, that will always be my real home, because she's the mother of my children, and it's my family, and it's the house we brought our kids up in. So I want to send a warning out there to all you other blokes, all you young men, all of you boys watching this. Be very, very careful about the choices you make and the things that you say and the thoughts that you think. Pornography had a massive, massive part in the downfall of my marriage. I was addicted to porn for many, many years, and that was a really, really hard demon to slay. Very, very hard, very challenging, and been to counselling for it, and one never loses that addiction. So be very, very careful, all you young men out there. Don't start watching porn. It is a killer. It kills love. It puts a barrier over your heart, and it holds you back from really loving and really committing to a woman. So if you do have that problem, get on top of it right now. And it is a problem. It's a massive problem in today's society. It's widely accepted amongst people now, but it's very, very damaging. So this is a warning, a stern warning, and heed this warning, folks. Young men especially, heed this warning, because once you get addicted, once that dragon gets its claws into you, it's very, very hard to shake, and you will have a toxic relationship with your significant other. You'll never be truly happy. You'll never be truly loving. You won't have a whole loving relationship. And I was totally unaware of these toxic masculinity traits I was displaying, that I had, until I really started to delve deep into some work on myself during the last year, and especially the last 6 months. And I'm still learning and growing. I'm reading a lot of books. I've got some really good resources out there. I'll share those with you guys at a later stage once I collect them all, because I've given a few away, passed them on, but I'll get them back and then I'll put them all down, and I'll do another video on this and have a whole bunch of resources, things that help me. All right, crikey, what was the other thing? Trauma. I had some trauma from my childhood years, from my mother giving me the whack because I was a naughty boy. Fair call. I asked for it, It wasn't like I was a good model kid. I was full of energy, and being an alpha type male, I was always getting into mischief and going on adventures, very wild at heart, and always pushing the boundaries and climbing over that next mountain and that next ridge, and just pushing my luck. And my mother was only doing the best that she could with the tools that she had at the time. She didn't know any better, like a lot of us, and I probably still don't know any better. I don't know if this is a good thing, publishing this or not. I'm hoping it is. I'm hoping that I'll be able to help other people. My intuition tells me that it is. My gut feeling tells me that it is, and I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I haven't done it on this YouTube platform yet, just on my other social media platforms, Instagram and Facebook, especially Instagram. So follow me on Instagram if you're not already, to follow this personal journey, and I've put some really good resources on there too. The shit, the magic, and the story highlights, and there's some cooking stuff on there and other bits and pieces. So I'm going to delve deep into the health side of life now, mental, physical health. Yes, because if you're fit and healthy, you live longer and you enjoy life more. So, where was I before I went? Oh yeah, so childhood trauma. So my mum didn't show me a lot of love, and in return, I didn't show her a lot of love, and I put this big border around my heart, and I wasn't able to love properly. I couldn't love my friends, I couldn't love my wife, I couldn't love my children, and I didn't realize this. I did not realize that I could not love properly. Unconditional love was foreign to me. All through my relationships, it was always, if you give me this, I'll give you that. And it was that way around. It wasn't, if I give you this, I'd like this in return. Whereas it should have been, I'm going to give you this because I love you and I don't expect anything in return. I just want you to thrive and be happy, which is where I'm at now. And it's very tricky, man. Unconditional love is very, very hard, especially if you're not in a close personal relationship with your significant other, like I am with my wife. You know, we're no longer intimate. We don't have that intimacy, but we will always be in a relationship because she's the mother of my children. So I'm just working on sorting that out now, and she is as well. And who knows, we might reunite further down the track. I don't know what the universe has got in plan for us, but I'm practicing the unconditional love now, which I've never done before. It was foreign to me, and it's very, very hard. So I encourage anyone out there that does not love wholeheartedly and unconditionally to do a bit of research on it and to just give, expect nothing in return, and it will change your life. And forgiveness is also massive. I recently forgave my mother about 2 months ago, and I had this massive paradigm shift. I always thought that she was judgmental and very much Simpsons-like, always judging me, and now I just think she's the sweetest old lady ever. And I couldn't see that because I had a lot of unforgiveness, and I couldn't see that loving side of her. It was really amazing to go through that whole shift and really see my mother for who she is. And she's changed a lot since I was a kid, and she's apologized profusely for the emotional abuse that she handed out. And it wasn't that bad. It wasn't sexual abuse. It wasn't she never like smacked me up real bad. It was just the strap. She used to give me the strap, so there was pain and then there was emotional pushing away. So I really feel for people who have had very hard and heavy abuse in their childhood and even in their teenage years. A lot of women get drunk and get abused, not only in their teenage years, but later on in life as well. Alcohol is a huge problem. That played a part as well in the relationship breakup. So, man, if you display any kind of trauma symptoms, and just Google what trauma symptoms are, if you're displaying, because you might be unaware that you've got trauma to deal with. I certainly was. I had no idea until I went and saw a counsellor, because I keep getting these feelings of anxiety and despair, and I've always been a charge, you know. I've always pushed the limits and been an adventurer and been just wild, and that wildness just went downhill over the years of my marriage, and I just lost my passion, I lost my enthusiasm, I let fear sink in. Fear is a killer as well. Fear is massive. Fear not, folks. Do not fear the future. Do not fear anything. Be really confident. Have good fantasies, good visualizations, think good thoughts, do good things. Do not let fear creep into your life. The unknown, you know, the fear of fear itself. Don't let that take a hold of you, because when it does, you start to get into these negative thought patterns, and then your subconscious starts to think negatively, and it actually turns the ship in the wrong direction. So this is where this spiel is heading, this big long random yarn. If you're still watching, it's almost 10 minutes. Well done for hanging in there. So I'm coming straight to the point after 10 minutes. I should have written a list down, but I didn't. I'm just freestyling here. So the subconscious and the power of the subconscious mind. Our subconscious actually drives us. Our conscious mind makes our general day-to-day decisions and evaluates risk and all the rest of it in our prefrontal cortex, the executive part of our brain, our executive functions. But the subconscious mind drives our life and drives ultimately in the direction we're headed. A good analogy is it's like a ship. You're the captain of your own ship, and everyone else is below decks. That includes the person who steers the ship, the team that are shoveling the coal into the boilers and controlling the speed of the ship, the team controlling the ballast, how high the ship floats or sinks, and also the navigator. Now all the captain is doing is giving orders, and the people below decks, they just trust the captain. So if you say straight ahead 270 degrees full steam, all the below decks people, which is your subconscious, they've got no idea what's going on. They just follow your orders, and after a while they're like, well, we're still going in the same direction, we'll just trust the captain. And the things that you say, the thoughts that you think, and your actions control your subconscious mind, because we're creatures of habit. So you get into these thought habits, these thinking habits, the habits of speaking, habits of doing, and eventually that in turn, your conscious mind influences your subconscious mind, and then your subconscious mind drives the ship. Metaphorically speaking, I think that's the best analogy. So if the captain starts making good decisions, educated decisions, then everyone below decks is still doing their job, but now the captain actually knows where he's going. He's steering that ship in the right direction. He's going at the right speed. He's got the right ballast so the ship doesn't turn over in big waves, or he can get over those reefs and safely into the harbour. He's navigating correctly and steering that ship as he should, instead of just running blindly. And so many people are running blindly these days and aren't aware of toxic masculinity. And I really encourage everyone to look that up. Toxic masculinity, the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Massive. If you're in a relationship, it will change your whole relationship. If you're having difficulty, go to counselling. You really need to go see a professional. You can't really deal with your own trauma. There are resources out on the internet, but you need to go to a counsellor first so they can set you down the right path and give you some exercises, some habits to get into to train your subconscious mind. Exercise is massive. Exercise and movement is really, really big. So I encourage everyone to move around in nature outside for at least 20 minutes a day. You don't have to go for a run or whatever. I do Tabata or cross fitness every morning. So every second morning, I just do a bunch of press ups and a bunch of pull ups and a bunch of squat jumps and some other exercises to work on my shoulder and back muscles and whatnot, and then some stretching. Being mindful is really, really important. So thinking of 3 things that you appreciate in life every day, every morning when you get up, be really appreciative. Singing's really good. Singing and dancing is also really good for the chemicals in your brain. Dopamine. Cold showers are really, really important as well. And fresh air and breath work, getting that oxygen in. So if anyone out there is feeling dissatisfied and struggling, or feel like they're struggling, and there's lots of people out there because of this whole COVID thing, and I know it's coming into tough times, the price of everything's going through the roof, so people are shitting the bed all over the place. Just remember that life's actually pretty damn good if you put it all into perspective. Now, it does take a while to convince your subconscious that life is good. 3 weeks to create a new habit, 4 months to get that habit cemented into your brain, and to get that train on the track and all that ship steaming in the right direction. So it will take a while to turn that ship around, and it requires discipline, it requires persistence. And if you have a significant other or a partner, really, really important to communicate and just be honest about everything. Be very, very straight up and truthful, and you can support each other and get them to call you out. If she notices you're slipping, or you notice she's slipping, call them out. Oi, hang on a minute there. And if you're arguing all the time, go to a counsellor and get some tools to be able to discuss things in a reasonable way, so that you're not just triggering each other and yelling and shouting and not solving problems. So almost 15 minutes. That's it, folks. That was the yarn for today. It's really hard to give advice to people because everyone gets to where they are because of a series of different events. So I might feel one way about something, you might feel another way, and your friend or your partner might feel another way. So you really need to go get professional help if you are in a bit of a low spot in life, or a bit stressed, or a bit anxious, or your relationship's not going too well, or you've got addiction problems, or you've got trauma, unhealed trauma that needs dealing with. Go and get help, folks. I really, really encourage you to do that. It will change your life. It really will. Okay, that's it. Have an awesome day. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in a week. I'll have another yarn in a week. I'll probably be around the campfire with the bear next time in the afternoon, not first thing in the morning. All right. Cheerio.